Alright, so people want me to talk about the raids and my feelings towards said raids. Now I'm going to try to structure this video in a way, first I'll state the facts, what's been said and which may come to pass, and then my thoughts and suggestions after that. To get started, what is coming with raids? So the Dragon Sword, these are the mid-tier, so like they'll be rare but not as rare as the other rewards that I'll cover in a second. Dragon Throne Axes and Prayer Scrolls, and I'll leave a link in the description for the dev blog which explains what all of these are. Now people were complaining that the rewards from raids aren't like sufficient, and so there was a stream where Ronan basically said just put an idea out there, well its concept basically, of new rewards which are like way superior to the previous rewards, and also said that the Dragon Sword, the Prayer Scrolls and the Dragon Throne Axes will be mid-tier like rewards which you can get from monsters which aren't the boss of the raid. So what are these high tier rewards? To put it simply, and I'll get into it in a second, is neck sets. That's basically what it is. So let's start off. Well, basically, I forgot the name for it. I don't know if there was a name for it, but it's basically full Torva. So the name, the helm will be, it's slightly better than the Serpentine helm, like in every way. Other than it has the same strength bonus, it has prayer bonus, it has accuracy bonus, and then the defense stats are a little bit better than Serpentine helm. The only thing that it doesn't have obviously is Serpentine helm. If someone attacks you or something attacks you, it venoms them. This Torva helm equivalent won't do that. Now you're thinking, Torva, back in the day, Torva was extremely tanky. You're right, it was extremely tanky, and that was true when I saw the stats for the plate body and the plate legs. So the Torva plate body has obviously very high defense stats. It's superior to anything in the game right now. It has accuracy bonuses for all melee accuracies, has prayer bonus, and has +6 strength bonus, which means it will be, well, all of these will be best in slot. It's +2 strength bonus over the fighter torso and boundless chestplate. Now I'm going to elaborate on this more and why it's not as bad as it sounds, but I'll just carry on with the rest of the gear at the moment. Same thing with the Torva legs, they're +4 strength bonus, meaning they're better than boundless tassets, and they're very tanky and have prayer bonus and accuracy bonus. And all of these sets degrade with, they degrade not to dust, but they have like charges sort of, and you can repair them with coins, much like Barrow's armor, but they'll be a lot more expensive than Barrow's armor. Now the range version, this isn't quite the same as the Torva version. So this set is range obviously. It has better accuracies than Armadillo a little bit, it has a little bit better defense stats than Armadillo, and the main thing is it gives a range strength. So this range armor isn't meant to be for like absolute tanking, though it is the best for tanking, which is whatever, but still the main purpose of it is that it gives you extra range strength, meaning you're going to have a higher max hit, and it will be best in slot better than Armadillo, and again it degrades and all that. And then the mage, it's better than a Rims, it degrades, and one thing I think they sort of messed up is it should have been like subjugation, where it gives you magic damage percent, because at the moment it doesn't have that. It just has defense, attack, like best in slot defense and attack compared to a Rims. Now tomorrow there is a beta going to be open for the Elder Maul and Wand. I believe it's both of them. And my thoughts on these really quickly, I didn't really want to cover them, but the Elder Maul is a nerfed chaotic maul, basically. That's what it is. It's just a nerfed chaotic maul. Like in some PVM situations it might be better than the bludgeon, but probably not. And in PvP it's a combo weapon that hits hard. And then the Elder Wand, it has +5% magic damage, which is nowhere as good as Staff of the Dead, which is +15%, I believe, but it has the best in slot for magic accuracy. In my opinion, I think the Elder Staff should be a staff, and I think it should be a two-handed staff, and it should have like +20% magic bonus, that's a damage bonus, and then like best in slot magic accuracy. But that's besides the point, I'm getting off topic, sort of. Now my thoughts on these armors, next set equivalents. So you might be thinking instantly, oh, it's going to devalue Bandos, Armadillo, and a Rim. Well, you think about it, so 3 months after next release, how much was Torva? 3 bill-ish, multiple bills for the full Torva set, and it still degraded. Same thing with, even more so with Pernex. Pernex was like multiple bills, like 4, 5, 6 bill, 3 months after release. And I'm not sure about that, it's probably a couple bill. So if you're using Bandos right now, like, if you're slaying with Bandos, if you think about it, you're slaying with Bandos because it's best in slot and it doesn't degrade, because it's just not efficient to be using Torva equivalent while slaying, because of the amount it will cost in degrade costs. So it will only be used in very specific situations, like very high PVM content, like God Wars Dungeon maybe, raids itself, and some other ones that I might be forgetting. So this will not be cheap. This will be like, it will be multiple bills per set, until very much later where it might go under a bill. But all of this depends on the frequency of the drops, because you think about it next, like previously what did it take, like 8 minutes to kill it or something, I've got no idea. And raids are meant to take longer than an hour. This is something else I'll get onto, but raids are meant to take longer than an hour, but everyone's rewarded, and you get rewarded depending on how much you did. For example, so how much damage you did, if you healed people, and there's a few other things that I forgot, but that if you contribute to the raid, you will get better rewards depending on how much you contributed. I don't know if that means you get more rolls on the drop table than someone else or what, but who knows. So now I think I've stated all the facts, so now my thoughts, right? So my thoughts are, again, you're not going to be using this Torvo equivalent to slay because it will cost so much. Bandles is still going to be the go-to for that. Same thing with Armadillo and Arim. Arim is still going to be your go-to PK gear. It's not going to be this new stuff unless you're like not sculling, but like I can't imagine a situation where you'll need high mage bonus and you're not going to skull because you'll probably be barraging in like deep woody or whatever. And again, this will be like it will be so high, like high level content, because you'll need so much money to buy it and then like upkeep the repair costs. And I'm gonna mix in a suggestion here. Now, you might not like me mentioning RS3, but in RS3, top tier armors in RS3, you make them with a staple drop from a boss. So in like Rise of the Six, I think you get Malevolent Energy. That might not be right, but I think you get Malevolent Energy, which makes the top tier melee armor, at least for DPS. I think I might be wrong. Now the only difference between this one, these are next set equivalents, and the RS3 ones is the RS3 ones degrade to dust, meaning that the energies have much more value, and you're only going to use that Malevolent when it really is really worth it, because it's going to degrade to dust. Now I'm not suggesting that it should degrade to dust, but I think that the raid bosses should have a staple drop of between like 1 and 100 of like whatever energy it may be, like twisted energy for the range one, or they could all share one common energy. So rather than coins, you would use this energy to charge and repair your gear, these next sets, right? And this means that Jagex won't have to put like alkaballs on the drop table to make the GP now worth it without the drops, because these drops are going to be very, very rare and expensive. If you're not getting them, you're still going to be wanting to make money. Meaning, if you had these energies in, let's just call them twisted energies, whatever. So if you had these twisted energies, that would be a stable, like 100% chance you will get some twisted energies, and you'll get more or less depending on how much you contribute into the raid. And that would become the staple, like that would become your staple GP an hour. Much like when you kill dragons, your staple GP an hour is coming from their hides and their bones. Anything else is just bonus, right? So these energies make it so you don't need to throw in, like, which they probably would do if these energies don't exist, or they will do, is they would throw in like very high price alkaballs, like you would get multiple dragon like weapons, like longswords and that aren't going to lose their value because they have high alk values, and like hundreds of battle staffs and all this, because they're not going to lose value because they alk for 8.3k or whatever when you make them into a battle staff, and things like this. But that's just not necessary if you make it so you have to use these energies to repair the sets. I really think that is the best way to go, to use energies to repair the sets, for reasons that I've just explained. I'm like repeating myself like 10 times over. So to recap, these sets aren't going to replace Bandos, Armadillo and Arim, because they're going to be cheap, very cheap alternatives, and in the case of Bandos and Armadillo, they don't degrade, so it's that you're just going to use them for like Slayer and low level bossing and all that. And with the Pernix equivalent, it's not the same as Pernix back previously. Obviously it has less defense bonus than that, and it has range strength bonus, much like, I've already said this, much like subjugation but for range. And then the mage robes are simply, they're just buffed to rim, but I think they should give, each piece should give a very small magic damage % bonus, much like subjugation previously. And again, these sets will be bills if they, depending on their repair cost, but they will be bills for a long time, if not hundreds of mils, obviously. And the underwhelming rewards like the dragon sword, the dragon throwing axes, and the prayer scrolls will be somewhat uncommon from normal monsters that you kill within the raid along with the boss. And that's about it. If you have any thoughts about the video or the raids, just leave them down in the comment section, and be very interesting to discuss. And see you next video.